Hello and welcome back to the Silage Zone. Wanted to give you a quick update for the 2023 silage season in regards to what we think is going to be a fiber digestibility year that is probably above average, maybe not quite as good as 2022, but overall a pretty decent year we believe. Each year we go out and sample several fields, several different hybrids early ahead of silage time, taking them at 8 inches and 20 inches, and then we send those samples in to see what the difference is in fiber digestibility, because we know that growing environment has a tremendous impact on the fiber digestibility of our crop every year. Want to show you a few slides. One of them, the first one that I want to show you, is the one where you can see that based on growing environment, we can have a tremendous amount of difference in fiber digestibility. This was at Michigan, where they had over 2 years, 2006, 2007, 23 hybrids, same hybrids planted both years. And 1 year was somewhat of a wet year, the 2006. The 2007 was somewhat of a dry year. Hybrid number 10, which had the highest NDFD for both years, was a BMR. But if you look, in the dry year, there was 10 of the standard hybrids that actually had as high or higher NDFD than the BMR did in the wet year. So again, we can have a tremendous difference based on growing environment. But why do we even consider this? One of the reasons we consider it, obviously, if we go with a higher chop, is to improve the overall digestibility of the pile, because we're leaving that lower stalk that's the most undigestible in the field. We can kind of customize our total on-farm forage program based on what we have for other forages already on the farm. And then we can adjust what we have to harvest based on what we want for carryover. 5 to 6 months is somewhat of an ideal carryover on corn silage, because we know by 5 to 6 months our starch digestibility is going to be pretty much where it's going to be for the year. We also have an opportunity to forward contract on some byproducts in case we need to do that are going to complement the forage quality we have in our corn silage and other forages on the farm. And also, once we establish where we're going to chop that height, it helps us to manage residue and where our soil organic matter is going to be. Another thing that I wanted to show you was there's been 2 major summaries of the high and low chop, one with Penn State, Wu and Roth, 11 studies, and Ferrarato with 7 studies, I believe, while he was at Florida. And you can see fairly similar results. We're going to end up being roughly about a 2.5 to 3.5% decrease in yield per 4 inches of stalk that we leave in the field. We're going to see about a 6 to 8%, not points, but 6 to 8% increase in starch content per 12-inch of cut difference. And we're going to be somewhere in that 5.5 to 6.5% higher NDFD 30 with the 12-inch cut difference. So looking back last year, where'd we end up? Our high chop results in 2022, we were about where we should be on the starch, 5.3% improvement. NDFD 30, we were only at plus 2% for that 12-inch cut difference when it should be somewhere around 6. So indications were that we had a really good fiber digestibility year, and I think most people would agree that's how it turned out. For 2023, we did about 15 samples across Wisconsin and Minnesota. The high chop results showed similar results on the starch, about a plus 5%. The NDFD 30 was a plus 4.1%, so still below the average of a 6, which means I think we've got an indication that it's going to be an above average fiber digestibility crop in our fields, but probably not as good as it was in 2022. Again, these are, a small number of samples in large fields, and we know that growing environments can change from one field to the next, and certainly one county to the next, and one state to the next. So a lot of variability can be built into these numbers, but one of the things that we'd encourage you to do is regularly look at this on your own operation and find out where you're at as soon as you get into the fields, and find out what kind of a year it's going to be on your farm, and then chop accordingly based on your inventory needs and what you have for other forages to complement that corn silage. Want to thank the Nutritional Sciences Group for the help in supporting this effort. Also, the pioneer agencies that helped go out and take the samples and get them into the lab for analysis. If you have any questions, please reach out to myself or one of your pioneer agencies for any further information. Thanks and have a great harvest.
That concludes this Pioneer Agronomy video podcast. Visit our page on pioneer.com and follow us on Twitter and Facebook for more agronomy insights.